Welcome to Module 2.8.2 of the Alberta Aids to Daily Living online training module for amplification benefits. This module will provide you with information about provider roles and responsibilities, the approved product list, fitting and verification of amplification devices, the QFR process, contact information, and program resources. Prior to reviewing this module, it is recommended that you review AADL Module 1, the Amplification Benefits Module 2.8.1, the AADL General Policy and Procedure Manual, the Amplification Benefits Manual, Manual H, and the Approved Product List. In this section, we will review provider roles and responsibilities. There are a number of terms associated with AADL hearing aid providers. Authorizers and specialty assessors complete clinical assessments for the purpose of fitting amplification devices. Vendors and specialty suppliers have an agreement with AADL to provide amplification devices such as hearing aids, FM systems, personal listening devices, cochlear implants, and bone-anchored hearing devices. Alberta Blue Cross uses the general term provider when referring to any of the above. To become a specialty assessor or authorizer, you must be registered with your professional college for your respective profession. Audiologists must be registered with the Alberta College of Speech-Language Pathologists and Audiologists. Hearing aid practitioners must be registered with the College of Hearing Aid Practitioners of Alberta. You must always follow college guidelines for supervision requirements of students and new clinicians. Prior to becoming a specialty assessor, it is an AADL requirement that new clinicians receive indirect supervision by an AADL specialty assessor when working with AADL clients. This is to ensure safety for the client and to ensure that new clinicians are learning and following proper AADL policies and procedures. Clinicians must have a minimum of 1 year experience as a registered clinician with their respective college before they can apply to become a specialty assessor with AADL. Once you have 1 year experience as a registered clinician, you must complete the AADL online training modules and submit a specialty assessor application to Alberta Blue Cross for review. Alberta Blue Cross will then work with AADL to validate the provider and, if approved, register them on the portal for the appropriate benefit line. Providers must be registered on the Alberta Blue Cross online health portal to submit benefit authorization requests and/or claims for amplification benefits. Providers must act in accordance with AADL policies and procedures as set out in the AADL program manuals, agreements, and/or contracts signed with AADL. Please review Modules 1.2 through 1.4 for a comprehensive review of the roles and responsibilities of AADL providers. In the next few slides, we will review the approved product list for the amplification benefits area. Each benefit area has an approved product list, referred to as an APL for short. The APL provides catalog numbers, a description of products and services covered by AADL, as well as the quantity, frequency, and price limit for each product and/or service that AADL covers. Clients are responsible for the cost share portion and upgrade costs. The APL for amplification benefits is divided into the following sections: cost share seniors and adult dependents of seniors, cost share exempt adults, seniors, and adult dependents of seniors, children under 18 years old and full-time students, bone-anchored hearing devices, cochlear implants, and approved manufacturers. For each section, the APL provides a description of the products and/or services AADL pays for, in addition to the quantity, frequency, and price limit for each. Please ensure you are familiar with the APL prior to authorizing benefits. Errors are common when providers complete authorizations, claims, and QFRs for BTEs. Please note that regular BTEs and high-power BTEs are a separate item and have a separate code. Providers must differentiate between these two when creating authorization requests and completing QFRs for amplification devices. For example, if you indicated that you are placing a right BTE with a right high power BTE on the QFR form, this should be what is pre-authorized and claimed. Errors are also common for cross-bycross aids. Cross aids are designed for clients with a unilateral hearing loss. Bicross aids are designed for clients with a bilateral hearing loss. Cross-bycross aids must be billed with the microphone. You cannot bill a standard hearing aid with the cross-bycross microphone. You must also bill the cross-bycross aid and microphone at the same time. You cannot bill for the microphone separately at a later date. Please cross-check the APL with the Blue Cross website when creating authorizations and completing QFRs for cross-bycross devices to ensure you are choosing the correct devices and codes. It is the specialty assessor's responsibility to ensure that they are choosing the correct amplification device, descriptions, and codes as per the approved product list. This information should be provided to support staff if they are the ones entering the authorizations, claims, and QFRs into the Alberta Blue Cross online portal. Exception requests must be submitted to AADL through a manual authorization process with Alberta Blue Cross. All supporting documentation must be included, such as current and pre-existing audiograms, real ear measurements, reason for request, and a letter of support from a family member or legal guardian. QFR requests must be submitted through the QFR authorization process on the Alberta Blue Cross online portal. In the following section, we will discuss the fitting and verification of amplification devices. A completed client consent form is required for all amplification funding requests, including new amplification devices, repairs, parts, and changes. The client consent form describes why personal information is being collected by AADL in accordance with the Freedom of Information and Protection Act and the Health Information Act. The consent form must be signed by the client or the person who is financially responsible for the client. At the initial hearing aid fitting, the provider must complete real ear measurements, or REMs, for verifying and optimizing the electroacoustic characteristics of the hearing aid fitting for gain and maximum output. Simulated REM measurements of the real ear aided response may be used for infants or clients unable to actively participate in real ear measurement verification. Simulated REM is to only be used under extenuating circumstances when actual REM cannot be obtained. REMs must be kept on file for audit purposes and must include the client's name, date, the hearing aid manufacturer, model, serial number, and body side. Authorizations must be obtained prior to the hearing aid fitting and submitting a claim. It is possible for the authorization and claim to occur on the same day, but claims must be submitted on the fitting date so that the correct cost share amounts can be collected. While it is not required that the validation certificate be uploaded onto the Blue Cross portal, it is a mandatory document and must be kept on file for audit purposes. The client must sign this form on 3 separate occasions: at the hearing assessment, at the amplification device fitting, and at the completion of the minimum 28-day trial period. Providers must work with the client to determine their amplification and communication needs. Clients are expected to use the amplification devices for the primary purpose of hearing and communication, maintain, care for, and protect their devices, and advise the provider if there is any concern about the device. It is highly recommended that families acquire adequate private insurance to cover loss or damage to their devices. This can be done as part of the family's homeowner insurance after any manufacturer loss and damage warranties have expired. As per AADL policy, AADL does not replace lost or damaged hearing aids. The specialty assessor must have contact with the client a minimum of once between the initial fitting date and the required validation appointment at the end of the trial period to address any concerns that may arise. A minimum 28-day trial period is required for all amplification devices. A 60-day trial period is recommended for new users and pediatric clients 0 to 6 years old. The client should have a custom ear mold during the hearing aid trial period, if applicable. If the client gets new ear molds or is refitted with a different model of amplification during the trial period, a new REM must be obtained and the trial period recommences from the date of the refitting. Every attempt should be made to provide the client with a custom mold, if applicable, on the day of the hearing aid fitting. AADL will pay for repairs as outlined in the approved product list after the manufacturer warranty has expired. A 1-year repair warranty on major repairs is required. However, a 6-month warranty on major repairs is acceptable if it is less than 12 months from the next replacement eligibility date. Clients must wait until their repair warranties have expired before they can purchase a new device through AADL. Quantity and frequency limits are placed on all amplification products, and the frequency with which items will be replaced are identified in the approved product list. We will review frequency requirements in the next few slides. AADL will replace an amplification device outside the frequency limits under exceptional circumstances as outlined in the Amplification Benefits Policy Manual. QFR requests must be submitted through the Alberta Blue Cross portal and will be forwarded to AADL for review. The request must be supported by clinical rationale before a replacement will be considered by AADL. Alberta Blue Cross will create a manual authorization for approved QFRs. It is important for providers to understand that they have a specific role in any decision to recommend a change of equipment. AADL does not support replacements without documented change in a client's needs. AADL does not support requests for the latest equipment for the convenience of the client, nor does AADL replace due to differences in clinical opinion. AADL does not replace lost, stolen, or damaged equipment. Requests that do not meet early replacement policy criteria will be denied. Therefore, it is important that clinicians explain to their clients how replacement decisions are made by AADL. As stated earlier, the quantity and frequency process is described in detail in the AADL General Policy and Procedure Manual and is covered in the AADL Module number 1.7. QFR requests for amplification devices must meet the early replacement criteria as outlined in the Amplification Benefits Manual. These include a significant decline in hearing, a major repair is required and the device is within 6 months of its replacement anniversary, or the equipment is obsolete and cannot be repaired. All QFR requests require the following: a completed QFR form. Please note that the codes and device selection on the QFR form must match those provided on the Alberta Blue Cross QFR authorization. All fields of the QFR form must be completed and must coincide with the Alberta Blue Cross authorization in order to prevent delays. Forms with missing information or incorrect, mismatched codes will be returned to the provider. Documentation to support why the existing benefit no longer meets the client's clinical needs must be submitted with the QFR request. This may include, but is not limited to, audiograms, real ear measurements, medical records, and manufacturer letters. All requests for a significant decline in hearing must include a current and pre-existing audiogram. The pre-existing audiogram must be from the previous hearing aid fitting. The provider must also provide information regarding the current hearing aids, including the manufacturer and model. A change in hearing does not guarantee QFR approval if the hearing loss is still within the fitting range of the current hearing aid. In this module, we discuss the roles and responsibilities of amplification benefit providers, the information that is provided on the approved product list, requirements for fitting and verifying amplification devices, and how early replacement requests for equipment are submitted and reviewed. In the following module, we will discuss the role of Alberta Blue Cross within the AADL program, how to register as a provider, how to navigate the Alberta Blue Cross online portal with regards to patient inquiries, authorizations, and claims. Thank you for completing Module 2.8.2. Please continue to the next module for information about navigating the Alberta Blue Cross website.